have the option to go into a jacuzzi, and there's Kovid in one of them, and there's Mitchell on the other one. Both of them are naked. Which one? Which one would you join? Which one do you go to?
It seems like he's in it for the money because he took money from other investors, right?
Say it like this. What is the right term? I'm afraid of Mitchell.
I had the same opinion. I was like, this dude is brutal.
Right?
Butcher.
Yeah.
He's gonna butcher everyone in the conversation.
Like Kovid is the Lord. He's the GOAT. You know. Now I'm in love.
The Lord said something. Okay, it's like a virus.
The people at the start use one screen because they're too noob to use more than one, and then they become tryhard and use three. But then they realize, oh, one screen was the answer all along.
Yeah.
With a Jedi shroud, like.
What are we doing today, guys? We're just chatting, pretty much. Okay. This, it's just a conversation. This is FurryConf for the people that don't know what's happening. It's just a conversation that I have with Discord members. Okay, and we have it once every 2 months. Okay, anyone that is part of Discord can join. Only Marco and Dolev signed up. There's only one rule. If you don't turn your camera on, you get a furry. Are we gonna have these two furries at the bottom of the whole call? I think so. What do you guys think about furries?
I don't know what's the deal with them, but they disturb me in some way. I don't know. Are they supposed to be for kids because they are scary?
I mean, maybe someone can enlighten me because I don't really know much about them, and I have set up a calendar meeting to block this time in our personal calendar, and it's shared with my wife, and she saw it last week, I think, and she was like, "What the fuck? You are going to FurryConf?" And I was like, "No, it's just called FurryConf, but it's just a blocker for me because." And she was like, "I was scared you were going to a FurryConf now." And then she asked me, "Do you really know what furries are?" And I was like, "No, I think it's just some foxes or whatever." And she was like, "No, you have to research a bit more."
Oh man,
stuff.
that makes it even funnier. So we actually achieved the goal. This is like the goal. I don't even know what it is, and I don't know what furries are, to be honest. And I don't know if there is like FurryConf. Oh, there must be the truth about furry conventions. But is there one?
Here you are. You're number 3.
Is there one that is called FurryConf? I don't think so. Just ours, okay? Oh, no. There is FurryCon, okay? FurryCon. Ours is FurryConf, okay? So it's... Oh, man. That was funny. Okay, so just to set a bit of context, who are we talking to today? Like, I already know you guys. I interviewed both of you in the channel in the past. Just for people that don't know who Marco and Dolev are, let me just switch here real quick. I'm gonna switch to the podcast playlist. Hold on. Who did I interview first? Where is this
I think it must be Dolev, right? Because he's around forever. I mean, I remember him from back when I just imagined maybe at some point I get a bit of fame like him, and so it was like at least he's more active in this like open source stuff than me.
You
longer.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
But you started earlier, so it's like okay. If you went with who's like there forever, then it must have been Dolev.
Yeah. Dolev, May 2025. Almost 2 hours. If you guys want to know more about Dolev, you can go and watch this interview right here. Then Marco was on with Yaro, right? For Kolala. When did that happen? That happened.
Oh, right. I remember it.
You remember that one? Where is it? I must have passed it. Kolala. I remember the Kolala.
Below me. Yeah, I saw it.
So it was before.
It was before
April 27th. Yep. It's right there. So, well, we had a lot of issues on that live stream. We had to do it twice because there were audio issues. Man, was a pain. But
and the second one, I have to just add to this that I mean, I can't blame you, but it's like I'm really glad that Yaro joined because the second time I was really tired. I mean you can see it in the
video. Yeah,
and
you were not in the mood.
It's like I think the first one would be. I mean, it would have been better for me because I wouldn't have looked so tired, and I think I was. I mean, I could. I think I showed some stuff, showcased some stuff, or how it's called. And the second time, I was so glad that Yaro took over and he was showing stuff, and I was just there listening. But yeah.
Yeah, as a co-host. Okay, so share a bit of context. Share a bit about you. Let's start with Marco. Who are you? What do you do?
No,
what
I
tools?
want to. Can we just start with Dolev? Because I mean, as I said, I'm a big fan of him. So
Okay.
Are you tired? You want me to drive it like
No,
Yaro?
today I'm not tired. I got enough sleep, but it's like because I'm such a big fan.
Okay, now why don't we switch to your screen as well, Dolev? Okay, we're gonna be taking turns to share the screen. Okay, so that you guys can show, because sometimes we talk and we're like, and I have done this, and when it's easier just to show the screen. Okay, so if you want, you can share. You can have like your GitHub there, and whatever you want to share. It's easier, I think it's.
Yeah, they need me to get into the second link, right?
Yeah, to the second link, correct.
To grant accessibility.
Yeah, that always happens, man.
And then it connects me or something?
Yep.
I hope not. Yeah, okay, I'll see you guys later.
Okay, so he's just sharing. You don't understand what's going on, Marco, because you're not on macOS, but when you need to share your screen for the first time on a new tool, it asks you, do you want to grant permissions? Yeah. And then you have to quit the browser or the tool and share again.
I heard that from coworkers of mine, which are always like a big. I mean, they are big fans of macOS, but every time this happens, they are like, okay, it's ridiculous. I have to restart everything again.
Yeah, a macOS thing. We're gonna talk about OSs as well. We're gonna talk about.
I think
You're there?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. Let me switch to your screen. Hold on. Let's see. Which one is it? Is it this one? This one. Did I set it up correctly? Hold on. Give me a second here. Screen guest 1. Oh no, I didn't set it. Hold on. This one. And that should be this one, I think. Let's see.
Is it showing anything?
It takes a little while. Hold on.
Okay.
It should show up soon. But I do see it. I just have to wait here.
Oh, okay.
There.
Nice.
We can see it. Let's see. Okay.
There is
Amazing.
a terminal. Yes.
Okay. So, Dolev, who are you?
Yeah.
What tools have you created? What do you do? Whatever you want to share about you. You're going to have the screen as well, so that in case you want to show your website, your, GH- site as well, terminal, whatever.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm Dolev. I'm 36, like I said. I'm married and I live in Tel Aviv. Basically, I'm a full stack developer as my profession, but I also work a lot of open source stuff. Mainly develop tools for workflows I do often. So it started off with a tool called GH-. I can show the website for it.
Yeah.
Which is basically terminal UI for GitHub. So it started off as a gap that I had with the current GitHub UI. And so I started looking around at implementing a terminal UI, because at the time I really liked terminals and I got into NeoVim and all that stuff. So and also the Foxet Charm, which developed the TUI library that I use, came out with Bubble Tea, which is the library for toys. And I thought, let's experiment with it and we'll see how it goes. And I kept working on it for the past, 6 years or something. So it grew a lot. And then over time, I started developing even more toys for GitHub. So the other one that I have is called Enhance, which is basically a TUI for GitHub Actions.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last one that is the most recent is Diffner, which doesn't have a site, but it's a Git diff pager that I'm currently working on the most, I think. as I want to add like all the GitHub review workflow of PRs to it, so I can never have to go into
GitHub.
this UI and wait for this to load. With huge PRs, it's like a pain. And no keyboard shortcuts, no Vim shortcuts, which is the most painful for a Vim user, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So this is because you don't like going to the GitHub website, pretty much. Is that right? All of your tools?
I hate friction, so I really like stuff that are very quick. Like if I go into GH- I can just like press. I set up a shortcut Command-Shift-G. I can just press it, and I'm immediately inside like my. It's I'm on my .files repo, but if I go into like GH- and I can see PRs that I need to review pretty quickly, and this is all Vim keybinds, so yeah, I really like the lack of friction. If I go into GitHub, it's like I can use Vimium to navigate, but then I have to like press, if I want to go to files change, I have to press FH. And then there's no Vim keybinds here anywhere.
Yeah. What do you
So
guys...
it's just a personalized software, yeah.
What do you guys think about mouseless navigation? Because I did try it in the past, the yellow labels on the screen or the grid. I used to show a grid on the screen, and you just have to type like the letters that you want to go and click on the screen. And I haven't used that in a long time. Do you guys use it? Do you do it, Dolev?
Yeah, I have this, how is it called? Can't remember the name. Home row. Yeah,
Home row. Yep.
Yeah, but I rarely use it. I got a keyboard with 2 trackballs. So right now my hand is very close to the home row when I move the mouse, because there's a trackball on each side. One is for scrolling and one is for moving. So I use that. But at work, I usually reach for the mouse if I have to. It's just faster than using home row for me.
Okay. And what about you, Marco?
I'm not as cool as you guys with all these shortcuts. I'm mostly in the terminal all day, and I rarely use the browser. So I'm not using any tiling. So, I mean, I have kitties. Previously, I was a big user of Tmux, but then at some point, because I think it was because I was using what is it called, WezTerm with Tmux previously, and then I got rid of Tmux because I could do it all in WezTerm itself. And then at some point I saw something, I think it was from you, linkarzu, where you just talked about, okay, I can do the same in Kitty. And then I gave Kitty another try, because before using WezTerm I was using Kitty. And I mean, I'm hopping a lot, terminal hopping a lot. The only one I didn't try out was Ghostty until now. Now I settled with Kitty, and I only use like the splits and everything in the terminal, but I don't have anything. I'm just using plain GNOME on Linux, and I'm just using like whatever there is. And I'm mostly just setting everything to full screen, and then I'm just in one window at a time. Like I don't do all this crazy, like when I mean, it looks nice to me, but I'm not using it. It's like my brain is not made for just switching to all these windows. And I mean, I was really fond of when I saw it, like Niri, but then you have the strip, and I was like, oh no, I mean, I can't, my brain won't be able to process all these, like now I have all these strips and all these workspaces again, and all, no, I just have one window at a time, full screen, and I work on it.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, me too, exactly the same. I just have one.
One at a time, right? One in full screen, right?
Yeah.
In full screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too. That's what when I saw Neri, I was like, brother, who uses this and why do they use it? Because like Marco said, you have a strip and it can be infinite. So you lose the point of a window manager because you cannot find shit, right? It's like, so I have to scroll through 50 things to find what I need. Like, what's the point?
I really like that bell curve meme where, you know, the people at the start of the bell curve are like using 3 screens.
Yeah.
No, the people at the start use 1 screen because they're too noob to use more than one, and then they become tryhard and use 3. But then they realize, oh, 1 screen was the answer all along.
Yeah.
And with a Jedi shroud, like.
Yeah, that happened to me. You know, I used to have like a huge 52-inch TV screen. Sorry. And I decided, man, this doesn't make sense. So I'm back on one screen now. One screen, one application on the screen at a time. I think that's the goated way, because I cannot focus on two things at a time. When I'm doing live streams, I use two screens because I need to look at you guys and I need to see my screen, but that's the only time. Otherwise, the second screen just becomes a distraction. And I'm like, I always close it,
I mean, can I ask you something? That's also very personal, and I mean, it's personal as in like how you work, because I can tell you, I think that's not a secret for my current workplace, where I work, my day job. I see it all the time that people have like, I can't count how many tabs they have open because it's too many, but I think at most I have like, let's say 5, or I think the most I had at some point in my life open was 10, maybe 10 tabs. Because if it gets more, I immediately decide, okay, I have to bookmark it, or just use. I mean, you can also, if you don't like bookmarks, you can use whatever remote service for it or whatever, like read later or something. But I use bookmarks all the time and I sync them to all my devices. So and then if I don't want to bookmark it, or I don't want to come back to it later, then I just close it. It's just like, because I lose track. Because if I see them, I can't really think. I mean, what happens at the end of the day? I mean, I know browsers are able to restore all these bookmarks, but when you start your next working day, I mean, how do you continue? Do you just keep on adding tabs? Or, I mean, what's the workflow there? I mean...
That's the workflow, yeah.
Dolev, what do you think about that? Because go ahead. Let's see.
It's an unsolved problem for me. I also, like Marco, I get an irritating feeling when I have too many tabs, and then I'm like, I have a shortcut to close all the tabs other than the current one. But then I'm like, oh shit, I closed just one that I did need, and then I spam Command-Shift-T to reopen all the tabs until I reach it. And then I'm back to all the tabs that I had. So it's a hard problem to manage tabs.
But do you use
in
a lot?
I really like it because it's hidden. I don't have like a buffer line that shows me the tabs that I have open. It's just hidden, and then I have like a picker to go through my open buffers.
Oh, the same way that
if
I do
could
it, right?
hide, yeah.
Show. You want to show it? Let's see. We're right there.
Yeah, sure.
So
so if
how many tabs do you keep open in your browser, Dolev? Like
in my browser, I you can see I have this extension that shows like the number of the tab here, and that's so I can jump to it with Command-Shift 4 and 3, I think, right here. So if it becomes too many, then this becomes 12. And then I can't reach number 11 because Command-Shift-9 takes me to the last one. And then my whole shortcut workflow breaks. So I do Command-Shift-O to close everything. And then I'm back to sanity. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I have the exact same argument that Marco has. I see people that have like 50, 100 tabs, and I think to myself, what the fuck are you doing with your life, brother? Like, how can you find something in that maze? You lost the purpose of a browser. This is not worth like. And I don't know. I use 5, 6, 7. If I see 7, 8, it's like, brother, I'm exceeding. Let's just close the browser and start fresh. And if I need to go back, I restore that. I don't know. 5 is my top of tabs that I use in the browser, pretty much.
If I could take like all the pickers in UVim and bring them to the browser, it would be amazing, because that's exactly what I want. I want to, like, in UVim, I want to like go through my, let's say I open a bunch of buffers. I don't see the list of buffers. If I do space FB, which is find buffers for me, then I can fuzzy find over them and like or use FF files.
You're using FFF?
Yeah.
Why? Everyone hates FFF, brother.
Because it's amazing, man. No, I'm with you. If it's a good software, I don't care if I don't care if the creator is like, it's very direct and honest, which I like. I appreciate. So I don't care if he writes like controversial stuff in Reddit or something.
By the way, Marco is a moderator in Reddit. Like he is in Mount Olympus. He's one of the gods, right, Marco?
Oh wow.
No, that's
Which
not true. I
subreddit, Marco?
already told you. It's like more than a slave bit, because it's like you now have this obligation to check it multiple times a day, and you have to deal with really how do you call them, like people who think they are very in a special position. How do you call it when they are like
Entitled.
They think
Entitled.
Yeah, it's exactly like they think they are pretty special and they deserve special treatment. Like all the time somebody comes up and wants an exception to the rules we have in the either in the Vim or the NeoVim subreddit. Like, okay, but my software, like even if you have to pay for it, it's something different. You deleted it. Can you please approve it again? And then we are like, okay, now we have to. Like we can't just go ahead because they won't stop asking. Like you have to really make sure they understand that it's a nice software, but it breaks the rules. Like either make it free, then you can advertise it as long as you want. But if you, I mean, we have this rule specifically for this really nicely laid out. Like if you have a paid software which is somehow related to NeoVim, like it's not a plugin or something, but you have really nice NeoVim key bindings or something, and you teach users to how to use NeoVim efficiently, and you also it's a paid software, but you give back, I don't know, like 50% of the income to NeoVim or something, then it's also allowed. But if you just take the money and keep it for yourself, then it's not allowed. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand. But they are like, okay, my software is really special.
But what is the rule?
I mean, it's just
Can you provide a little bit of context there? Like you have a tool. Do you have well, you don't have to say an example, but what's the rule there? What are they trying to do?
The rule is basically, I mean, if it's really related to NeoVim, like or Vim also, I mean, related as in it's a plugin, it's a color scheme. We don't allow like just snippets, because this is where the dot files. We have a monthly.
Oh, the monthly dot files thread or something.
Then it should go there. You have to wait for it. Like then we remove it with exactly this message. Like, okay, please put it in the monthly dot files review. But most of the time we have something that's not really related. Like it's a website which teaches you how to use NeoVim, but you have to maybe like the first 3 lessons are free, and then you have to pay for it. When you pay for it, the creator or the creators just keep all the money for themselves and don't give something back to NeoVim.
Okay.
So then it's not allowed. Like it's just simple as that. It's like either you have to just split the money and give something back, then it's still allowed, even if it's paid.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to be. I think the rules also says something like you don't have to offer something free at all, but then at least give something back to the community, right? So it's but they most of the time they don't understand that. Or I mean, we had a special case where this was when I was onboarded, which was really nice of Lucas. I think that's the original moderator which invited me and some other guy to be moderators. And there was one guy who was really rude, and Lucas told me, because we have a special Discord server for it, the next few days just before responding to them, just send me what you would respond, and I just proofread it if it's too harsh or something like that. And this really helped me, because this guy was really rude, and he was like going all in, like he was personally attacking us. He was like, okay, you're gatekeeping me. It's like do you guys think you're something special? And he was really, really rude. And then I offered him, okay, we're not gatekeeping you, but it's breaking the rules. And then I asked Lucas first, am I allowed to
to tell him to fuck off
on a Sunday? No. I was like, okay, I really want to help this guy, and because he has a real problem. I mean, he has some other problems, but this was a technical
like
one.
a mental problem, you mean?
Exactly, yeah. And I was like, can I offer to help him on, because I have some free time on Sunday, like it was like in 3 days or something like that. And I was like, is this allowed? Because I'm not sure if it's allowed, because then usually we respond without our real names, like real usernames. It's just like a moderator has replied, and so you would know me and also my name, and then I would have to set up a meeting with him, and he was like, yeah, you can do that if you want. And then I offered him like, okay, I would I think I'm able to help you with this problem. I have time the whole Sunday. Just send me, if you want, just send me a time slot and I will prepare a meeting and we can get it done. And then he was really nice at this point. But sadly, he misunderstood what I offered, and he sent me some time slots on Monday to Friday or whatever.
To continue?
And I was like, no, yeah, it's like it was like, no, I just have Sunday. Like we can do it on Sunday, and then he was like, no, Sunday, I don't have time. And then I never heard back of him. But it was like up until this point where I offered him like private counseling, basically.
For free.
He was really rude, and he was like, "You're gatekeeping me."
Oh man, I think the NeoVim
this
community.
is what we have to do. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know. I was just gonna say maybe the NeoVim subreddit is too big, right? So it just runs out of control. But I have seen a lot of entitled users in the NeoVim subreddit, man. Like a lot of crazy people. If I were a mod in the NeoVim subreddit, I would be even crazier, man. Like I couldn't do it. I just don't have the patience. I don't know how you guys deal with projects, with public projects on the fucking internet, brothers. Like I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. And we can talk about that as well, you know. I couldn't. Especially now that anyone can send whatever amount of slop they want your way. I don't know how Kovid does it. I understand why Mitchell did what he did, you know, and I respect it. Anyone can do whatever the fuck they want. We're free to do whatever we want, right? So how do you guys deal with PRs nowadays that anyone can send it and you can make it seem like you're smart and you're like, oh, you know what? And, you know, new feature that I think about, I'm gonna send it to Dolev's ass, you know. And how do you guys deal with that? Any thoughts on that?
Why up there, man? Why up there? Anyway, I honestly I just don't spend a lot of time and attention reviewing PRs unless I can see like the person starts off, you know, with a small PR and. Linkarzu, don't give me that look.
What?
I don't know. I can continue. It needs to start out small, and then we can build the trust. And then I need to see that he really cares about feedback, and he really cares about maintaining the feature. But honestly, it happens so rarely. It happens like twice that I have like 2 people maybe that I trust, and the rest of the PRs, I honestly just don't spend time with. I barely look at them. I see, oh, it's 2,000 lines. No, thank you. and I move on. It's like it slows down the project. Maybe there are quality people that will accept all the comments that I have, but I don't have the energy to put into it. I just want to build stuff, and I hate reviewing code. I really do, even my own. It's like I just want to build. I just want to type stuff.
Yeah, because the easiest thing is just to create slop, right? I can create slop and I can send it to GH-. It wouldn't take me like not even 10 minutes, and it goes your way. Now it is your job to make sense out of it and adapt it to GH-. It's like, brother, you're gonna spend I don't know 5 hours.
Let me just do it myself. I will do it myself, and I don't need your PR, basically. Unless you really show like intention that you want to understand the code base. You start off small. You don't like, I don't know, prompt your AI to build 2,000 lines of code of PR for a huge feature right at the start of your contribution, you know, journey. That's why I like set up a policy that forbids AI usage, because I got a ton of PRs, and at first I took them seriously and gave feedback, and I felt like I get replies from chatbots in response to my, you know, review comments. And I was like, I might as well use ChatGPT myself and work off your PR without you in the middle. Like,
Exactly.
You can even go into my pull requests and see some of the things that like are just laying there for probably a few months.
Oh, and what do? Do you just outright close them? Do you respond to them? How do you handle that? Do you try to be political about it and you try to be nice about it, or you're just a dick, like full on dick, and you're like, fuck you and your PR, I don't need it, get the fuck out of here? How do you handle it?
No, I just politely ignore it. Basically.
Until they forget that they had to, like,
they usually forget because they wanted to one shot your repo with a huge PR, and they don't care about investing more time, so they don't even ping me about it anymore. It just sits there, and I forget about it.
So you just leave it there, and then eventually, a year after...
Look at the first one, the last one, sorry, that I actually put time into. There are 49 comments, and I felt like I'm talking to a chatbot, basically, and that's where I lost faith in huge PRs.
Okay. Now, how do you trust... Like, man, that's tough. Like, how do you accept new people in your community? Like, okay, so it has to come from a small PR. That makes sense pretty much. I think that's the gate. That's the key to get in, right? Like, just a tip, put a little bit of Vaseline on it.
Yeah, just don't try to...
Just don't try to ram it all the way in. Just something small that will help you maybe know the person a little bit and gain the trust, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I have some maintainer that helped me a while back to add a big feature, basically show notifications in GH-. They show GitHub notifications, but it didn't start off like with this huge feature. It started off small. And then I saw he really cares. He joined Discord. He talked to me about it, about the features that he wants to build. He contributed PRs and I left comments and he fixed them and actually put some thought into his answers. And I felt like he really wants to understand what he's contributing and how to best implement it. And it doesn't like just throw a bunch of code at me and he reviewed this. Yeah.
So he has the pass now. He can submit whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah. And he's like part of the open web stuff, I think. He maintains the MDN website. So I was like, okay, this guy is probably legit.
It's a chat.
He's a lord, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. And what about you, Marco?
I try to be polite, but sometimes I can't. I mean, at least in my Reddit moderator role, I have to be polite. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Lucas will kick me out immediately. But when it comes to the stuff I maintain mainly, and where I can do whatever I want, basically, it's sometimes really hard to be polite because it's sometimes, like Dolev said, it's like talking to chatbots. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's not like really that they are bots, but because maybe they tend to, I mean, English is obviously not my native language, but I rarely use AI to translate from German to English because I think, I hope at least that when I do it myself, it sounds, or it can transfer my meaning better. I hope so, at least. So, and I guess they don't do this. They use whatever, I'm not sure, whatever Hungarian language or whatever, and then just dump it in and use whatever comes out in English and paste it in there. And probably this is the case here. And I mean, at least in my experience for my projects. And this is hard for me to really, because then it feels like they don't put effort in it. It's like just they dump it in and then just whatever comes out, put it here. And I'm not a big opponent of using AI per se. Like if the output would be, like, if you vouch for the output, like, if you put your name behind what comes out, if you have really reviewed it carefully, and if it ticks all the boxes, like, it doesn't cause issues with the linting stuff or the formatting stuff, and you took care of adding tests and all this stuff, like, if it really matches this project structure and all this stuff, then I don't really care where it came from, because you could also outsource it to whatever user and pay him for it. I don't really care. If the output is really great, and you put your name behind it and you say, like, yeah, this is, I reviewed it. Like, I don't care where it's coming from, but I reviewed it and I would propose you to do it. I mean, I would propose to implement a new feature like this or fix a bug like this. Then I'm pretty fine. But most of the time it's sadly not like this. For me, it's...
Marco, do you want to share your screen and show your tools? Hold on. I'm going to disconnect Dolev's screen and you can open the screen sharing link. While you do that, I'm going to go and wake up my daughter because she has to go to school soon. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
let me try screen share. No, I just want this window here. Does it say? Is it working?
It has a delay,
audio
yeah.
source was.
Yeah, I can see the
Is it
screen.
working?
Yeah.
This is one. Okay, but it looks really blurry to me. But okay, is it only this blurry for me, or is it also? It's really.
I think the text is sharp enough, but
Okay.
yeah, the background is blurry for some reason.
Now it looks better to me. Or I'm not sure. I mean, I can also make the font a little bit bigger, I guess. But I'm not sure if we need this. But
I think if people would watch it on TV, then they would like a bigger text. For me, I'm in front of my screen, so I can see it fine. But
okay,
I guess.
And what was the shortcut? Okay, let me check. I think it's no, that wasn't the shortcut. What is it? No,
I always forget my shortcut because I never zoom in. Basically.
Yeah, it's the same for me too. Like it's like. What is it? It's something with plus. I mean, we can also look at my dot files. It should be there. KTConf.
What are you using?
Flying around.
You're not using FFF, right, Marco? What are you using?
I'm FCF. I'm using FCF.
FCF Lua?
Yeah. No, in this case, it was like it's a custom script I built with for Kitty to switch workspaces. It's like I think it's a Python script. I really dislike Python, but it's easy to build Python integration in Kitty. I think that's because the Lord, or how do you say it? It's not the Lord.
Yeah. The Quantum PhD Gigalord.
Yeah, the Gigalord chose Python as like the first citizen. Yeah.
Quantum PhD.
Quantum PhD. Yeah. And if you look it up on Google, it shows up, man. Like, what the? That's the funniest part. Now, what do you guys...
It should be here. Do you see it? There it is. Control-Shift-K. It says Map Control-Shift... No.
Neovim style.
There it is. Yeah, it is. Perfect. Now it's really big.
There we go.
Okay.
So,
then,
what are your projects, Marco? Because Dolev already showed his website. Can you show us your website? Where can we find, like, if we need to go to a site and say, okay, what is Marco working on? Who is he? Is there a site that you have? Oh, but you share just the terminal, right? Or did you share the entire screen?
Yes, yeah, but I mean, a big terminal lover, so I can also show you my website. But in a terminal, I mean, not the real website, but basically, I mean, you can, because it's all Markdown, obviously. I really love Markdown. So I think the easiest way would be like, you see it at the screen, like you can omit the www, of course, because, but this is basically the website. Okay. You can go to, and then you basically agree to this like a landing page. But if you go to like this website / let's say I think it's called Now. It's the Now page. I think that's just a convention most peeps, or not most peeps, some tech dudes have. Mm-hmm. Like Dolev has a Now page too, I think. So if you go to Dolev's page and then / Now, you can also see what he's currently on. Oh. And but I think there's not a real convention about projects. I have a projects page, which you can also like / projects, and then you see basically what I'm currently. I have more projects than this, but these are basically the ones I'm currently working on. But I think this is the one which is probably the most known in like your viewership, the Kulala things. Mm-hmm. Then, but I have another one, which is the bananas one. I think it should be here. This is my most successful, like successful as in with the most GitHub stars. I mean, not as successful as Dolev's projects, but I think it's around 6K stars now, like 5.5, 5.6K stars. The Kulala one sits around, I think, 2,100 stars for the. I mean, it's like shared among all these tools we have in Kulala now, but the main one is, I think, or the most successful one is the NeoVimX plugin or extension. Yes. Now we also have, like, I think I grouped them here in the Kulala. Let me check.
Is the bananas one like you have to install the app on each machine?
The Kulala one is like I got tired of. I'm not sure if you have the same.
No, the bananas. The bananas, Marco.
Yeah. Okay. The bananas one is getbananas.net. It's this one here.
Yeah. So Dolev was asking if this bananas one is something that you need to install, right? Like an agent or something, Dolev?
Yeah, do you need to install it like on each machine, and then it's like a replacement for Zoom or something?
Exactly, it's something like this, but peer-to-peer without you forcing to have an account. Like it's real peer-to-peer. Like I mean, there's sometimes when it's trying to basically punch holes in your network. Like it's called, I think it's called nut punch hole, or it's punch. I'm not sure what the correct technical term is, but sometimes when we can't establish a direct connection, which happens when, I'm not sure about other countries, but in Germany it's sometimes that you get an IP which is shared. It's not your own, like on mobile providers.
Your public IP, right?
Yeah, yep. Exactly. Then it's like a shared IP with
you're behind
multiple
NAT,
people
pretty
out there.
much. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like obviously if I'm at home, that's the same reason, but it's worse than this, because now when you imagine there are public IPs which don't directly translate to me, because now that your ISP could be like your mobile provider, right? And my brother has one, and maybe Dolev has one, and I also use one, and we all got the same public IP. And then it also, that's not like only there you need to do a network address translation, but also again when it reaches my router.
Yeah, double NAT. Even triple, so, sometimes even four times. Yep.
Yeah. So, and this is where when we can't really punch holes in it. Like I mean, probably we could, but I'm not smart enough. So then you can also add. It's called stun.
Oh, I've heard about that.
It's not stun, but it's a turn server. So but they are mostly the same, but not completely. So, but you can then put a turn server in your config, and you can host it your own. So, which then enables you to also have. But then it's not peer-to-peer anymore, because everything goes to this turn server. But that's not the default configuration here. We try to avoid this, and if it fails for whatever reason, you can. We have documentation on this, how to do it. We also have a public one, like public as in for the bananas users, because I'm paying for it, and I set it up a year ago, and I didn't really want to continue. Having it run for every user out there, but now it's like there forever and everybody still uses it. So, but I don't want to have it public in the internet, like everybody is using it now.
Okay.
Did you get your teammates to download it and use it?
Yes, yeah, and also like not all teammates, but at least two of them. I think it was because this is why I initially built it in the first place, like all my tools. When we did screen sharing, I mean, we don't use Zoom. I think Zoom has something like you can show your pointers, but Google Meet doesn't. And so when they share their screen, and I'm like, okay, please click here. No, that's too right. Please, that's too far left. No, we're too far left. Please, a little bit more. Oh no, that's something like, and it's ridiculous all the time. And so if I could have just audio and video and my cursor, where I can also ping, like they are not only seeing my cursor, but I can also click and then it pings something for them. It's really easy. Like it's
what the best part would
Google. Yeah. So what is basically what it. What
does it do? So it's screen sharing when you're like troubleshooting with someone else. Like, what is that? Like the goal of the tool, or?
That was initially the goal when we are doing basically pair programming for a long time, like pair programming as in we're not really, we're sometimes taking turns, but most of the time it's like I'm just guiding, I'm like basically driving them, like, oh no, the driving is the wrong word, like somebody else is driving the code, like he's writing the code, but I'm just supervising. Like it's like, okay, I know this from a previous project and please do it like this, and or click here and do this and just research here. And this is when it's really hard for me to. I'm not a big fan of ClickOps, as I already told you, but sometimes I have to show them like, okay, this is how it looks like if you see it in the UI of Google, like in a Google Web Console, like click here and click here, and this is where it really comes in handy. Even though I then tell them, okay, please edit in whatever Terraform code, or sometimes most of the time I think it's
remote.
Yes, almost fully remote. It's like sometimes I have to drive to Frankfurt but it's really not that much. It's and for some people who have to drive a lot farther or like live farther away from Frankfurt, they also offer like that they what is it called when they pay for your travel expenses, basically. Yes. So
and he doesn't only work remote. Companies have to sign up for a waiting list that want to hire him, and he tells them like, you're gonna give me a Windows computer, brother? Fuck you and your Windows computer. Mac? Fuck you and your Mac. No, I use Manjaro. Which one is it? The one? No, so the company, he has to.
That's true.
Like,
I mean, it's not the waiting list, like, but it's like I'm a pretty good spot because I have a pretty good track record right now. I mean, they don't care about open source. I'm pretty honest about this. Nobody cares about open source in the business world. That's the sad reality for me. They don't really care, and they don't. I mean, I can't go to them and say, "Hey, I built this," and they don't really care. But I have a good track record in the company, like the business world, where I worked for some bigger companies, and it's all like, we call it vitamin B, like, because this really higher up knows me and he can just vouch for me, and they are all somehow interconnected. Like every big company, like they know, like the big boss at this company knows this big boss at this company, and like they talk to each other. So it's all my jobs are coming like basically from this. Like when I took what is it called, severance package when I left my previous company. I think it's called severance package, where you can choose like, okay, do you want to be part of this restructuring and then you have to do this and this and this, or you're working for this company this long and then you get like 50,000 or whatever, and you can you don't have to work for 1 year but get paid and all this stuff. I was like, I'm in. And when this happened, I'm not a big fan of LinkedIn, but then I posted it, obviously, that I'm not working there anymore. And this is where when basically the company started writing to me, and also some people I worked with before, which at this point were like higher ups in a new company. And then they were like, okay, I worked with you before. I really want to hire you. And at this specific, guy, I was really happy because I always thought that he hates me he left
at the previous company.
Yeah, exactly. And he was also my like, not my direct boss, but some boss, like higher up. And I always thought he really, really hates me. I'm not talking about disliking, but really hate, like that he doesn't want me to be there. Like, and then he came to me like, I know you worked. We worked there before. We worked together before, and I really want you to be part of this new company. And I was like, I mean, how come? Like, I always thought you hate me, but yeah. Then we had a nice talk, and yeah, so I joined this new company. But as you said, it's true that I always have these like requirements, basically. Like,
like if they don't let you use Linux, you just tell them to fuck off and just go somewhere else.
I'm more I mean, I try to be more polite than this, but yeah, that's basically it. It's like I always tell them, okay, then it's not for me, and it's probably also not for you, because I want to be the best I can be at this company. Like, I want to be really fast. I want to be like, I know all my stuff. Like, I know everything, like in and out, and I know what tools I have to use, how to install them, how to like manage everything around it, how to get everything up and running, like VPN, everything, like basically. And I don't want to, like, if you can't give me this, then I'm not like, I can't work at my best for you, like with 100%, then I'm probably only at 50%. And it's like, it's bad for me, but also bad for the company. And maybe at some point I will get as fast as I was before, but it will take a really long time. And yeah, I'm not willing to like spend a year to feel like a junior again.
Yeah, setting up your system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me. That is happening to me actually at the company that I'm on. They only provide Windows computers there. And I'm like, can I use a Mac, please? And nope, everything is Windows here. Man, it feels like shit. Yeah, you have to start over. You're not efficient. As Marco said, you're not fast. You know. So what I basically ended up doing is, since nowadays cloud services are famous, I keep everything on the cloud. I do most of this because I can give my 100% on my Mac. And NeoVim, that's where I do pretty much everything, and I can do stuff fairly quickly there. But if I would have to switch to Windows, use Notepad++, no snippets, no nothing, brother. Like, oh, it would be like really painful. And I think most companies don't get this, you know. They're flexible enough to let you use Mac OS, which is like a Linux distro, the golden standard Linux distro. Man, people hate me in the comments for that. People hate me in the channel for that. But, you know, if you're given Windows, man, it's like, brother, it is... No. have you guys used Windows recently?
Not since I was like 16, I think. Not professionally anyway, yeah.
No.
We have a new, I wanted to tell that we have a new IT, head of IT or something, or head of security. And he wrote a Notion page about all the software we're allowed to use, but he didn't enforce it in any way, like automatically.
Okay.
So he said like you can use Chrome or Firefox, and for the terminal you can use iTerm or the Max terminal. And I'm like, brother, if you know what I'm using, you're gonna uninstall my entire PC. And I'll probably leave because I can be using iTerm too, man.
Oh, no.
It's gonna be tough.
We're way past that stage already. We can talk about terminals as well. I want to talk about terminals. Which one are you guys using? Okay, let's put it this way. Let's say that you have the option to go into a jacuzzi, and there's Kovid in one of them, and there's Mitchell on the other one. Both of them are naked. Which one? Which one would you join? Which one do you go to?
I think none of them, right?
Okay, let's put in a swimsuit. Okay, they're not naked.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll go to Kovid because he's like so genuine. Like he's developing tools like for his own benefit, and it happens to benefit all the other guys that use it. Mitchell to me feels like very productive, very smart, very capable, but he's more like business oriented. He created companies that are worth millions of dollars, like billions of dollars, which is very appreciated. But I think like I more resonate with someone who's like not in it for the money. I don't know if Mitchell is in it for the money. It's like very not like genuine to say it is. To say that he's in it only for the money, but I really appreciate that Kovid is like just want to give the world stuff and doesn't care about investors, doesn't care about money, just want to build useful software for himself that helps others as well. So yeah, I really appreciate. I think I resonate more with Kovid.
Okay, I think Mitchell was in it for the money. I don't think he has the need anymore. I have no idea. I'm just, allegedly. That's what you say when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Allegedly. So I don't know if he's in it for the money anymore. Did you guys see the multiplexer that he's planning to create? He created a new company.
That seems like he's in it for the money because he took money from other investors, right? To form a new company.
To form it. Okay, I didn't know. I don't know how. But
he's also doing a lot of good with his money, so I'm not he donates a lot of money. He open sources stuff.
He open sources. He supports the SIG programming language a lot, right? So he's not like a bad guy. If I give my money
to someone, I'd give it to him. Yeah, mm-hmm. I wouldn't. I will trust him to do good with the money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But it's like foreign interest. Like I don't want investors to tell him what kind of multiplexer to build. I want to be purely technical, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Once investors get their hand in, they can influence stuff to their own benefit and it all goes to hell. I don't know how that is going to turn out, that multiplexer. I guess we're gonna see. Did you find out about that, Marco? About that multiplexer that Mitchell is working on? That's there.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm not that into Ghostty right now because I'm pretty happy with my Kitty setup right now. I don't see any benefit in switching because I'm pretty sure they support both the same graphics stuff. Like not WezTerm supports more, which was really nice because I think the limitation is like for JPEGs. WezTerm can render JPEGs pretty easily, as well, like natively, and I think Kitty and Ghosty, which does the same, I think, under the hood, are not able to do it, which in my case, I had to check for if I'm running in Kitty or Ghosty, and you're using the Kulala CLI, and you're requesting an image, then I have to convert it for you to PNG first, and then we show a little like an info box. Okay, this was previously it was in JPEG, but we converted it for you to PNG, so you can view it in your terminal. So,
okay.
But yeah.
See, it doesn't support JPEGs. I didn't know that. Have you thought about submitting a PR to the Lord? Man, the Lord, he's known, he's known as well. He's hated on GitHub because, people send him PR and he's like, no, fuck you and your PR. And,
I wouldn't try to send one because I researched this when I found out that it's not supported, and there were some open PRs, and he was really vocal about that he don't want to support it. So there's no point in adding another PR because he will just close it.
And why?
I'm pretty happy with the workaround. Like, okay, if it's not supported, then we just do what we have to
Convert
do to just show the image.
Okay. And why did he say he's not gonna do it with JPEGs?
I think he had a valid point because he is basically the sole maintainer of it, like of this Kitty graphics protocol, and it would lead to a lot of overhead just for this one feature. Like, he doesn't see any benefit in having this many like extra code just for this one. And I see his point, because when he's the only one who's really responsible for this product, and he needs to take care of its stability and all this stuff. And if you add a feature to it which causes a lot of headaches, like, okay, these are a lot new branches that open up, like a lot more if-else statements and all this stuff, then it's, even if you have tests for it, it's like, it makes the code base worse, I guess.
Okay. And you didn't answer the question, Marco. Which Jacuzzi would you go into then? Which team are you on?
Do I have enough time to join both of them, one after another? Because I really like both of them.
No, you have to.
I have to choose one.
Who would you go with first, then second? Let's put it that way.
Let's say it like this. What is the right term? I'm afraid of Mitchell. I think. I mean, I don't have, like, I can't tell you why, but maybe because he's so smart. Like, I think on a level like when it was like, when I would rate my IQ on a level compared to him from 1 to 10, like, or 0 to 10, like 0 is like I can barely breathe, but I can survive. And I would rate me at a 3 maybe, and he's like at a 10. And it's like, okay, I'm really scared of someone that smart.
That's smart, yeah.
And maybe, yeah. So, I mean, not that the Lord is not that smart, but he seems a lot nicer. Like, when I heard you, like, even if he's really vocal about stuff he doesn't like, but he's somehow nicer, at least in the interviews I watched.
You've seen,
So I think I would go for the Lord, because then I can, if it's not working out for me when I'm joining Mitchell, I can just quickly go out, and it was like, okay, it never happened.
Yeah, you know what they say, never meet your heroes, right? But I didn't know Kovid before I interviewed him, and I was like, man, I'm gonna ask Kovid. I had a conception about him. I thought Kovid is a dick, because that's what you were told on the internet, on videos and everything, on GitHub issues. And I was, okay, let's talk to Kovid. The interviews happened, and man, it changed everything. Now I'm like, Kovid is the Lord. He's the GOAT, Now I'm in love. No, but...
Oh, yeah, I had the same opinion. I was like, this dude is brutal.
Right?
He's gonna butcher.
Yeah.
He's gonna butcher everyone in a conversation. But then it's like very approachable. Yeah.
He is. Yeah, man. And which terminal are you guys on? Kitty or Ghosty, and why? Both of you said Kitty, I think, right? But why?
No, I'm on Ghosty.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, so what's happening there? Like, if you love Kovid so much, that's hypocritical on your side, because you're cheating on him.
Yeah, that's very... No, my excuse is that I don't have enough time, but I really want to move into Kitty sessions and Ditch Tmux as well. But I joined Ghosty when the hype was really high. And sticked with my Tmux workflow. I didn't have to change anything. So I have to make the move sometime.
out of convenience, then you're still in Ghostty out of convenience. Yeah, setting up kitty sessions takes a little bit of time, man. But you should use AI, Dolev. Just fuck it and just tell it, hey, look at linkarzu's files and just bake something for me, and you go from there.
No, it's very hard to be me. I with all that resistance to AI, I can just betray my whole philosophy and use AI now.
So
sessions.
You haven't used it. You haven't used AI at all. At least to try it.
I used GitHub Copilot.
Oh,
like 3 years ago.
And
yeah, I had one bug introduced where I tab completed it and it took me 2 hours to research. And then I'm like, I quit every AI tool. But I think for me, it's more psychological than actual. Like, I wouldn't think that Mitchell is a bad programmer because he uses AI, because he clearly isn't. So for me, it's more about, I think one in your chat put it clearly. I think part of it is about, I invested all this time in my setup and you guys are just using this cursor
nothing.
panel on the right with their code is like in a tiny box in the middle. They barely, they need to scroll both horizontally and vertically to navigate the code. They don't care about the code. They just care about the panel on the side. And you're telling me they're more productive than me after all this time. So I think some of that is a resistance to not acknowledging that they might be, but honestly, there's probably some valid points about my behavior. Also, I think a lot of it is hype, but yeah.
So you hate AI pretty much, but you're conflicted because you admire Mitchell, and you're like, but he uses AI, so what the fuck should I do with my life? Should I just give in?
Yeah, it's very hard,
right?
Yeah, maybe someday I will just collapse and give in to all the AI and become an AI gigalord or something.
Yeah, just a little. All you need is a little bit of Vaseline and that's it.
I think if AI was some kind of, it's just there, whoever uses it, and there's not all that hype or I use NewVim. I don't go around the office, oh man, I use NewVim. Did you install that plugin? You gotta install it. And there's oh yeah, I installed Caveman. It talks like a caveman to my AI. What the fuck is all this?
It's too much.
Why are we talking about it?
Yeah, talking about it everywhere.
All of a sudden, all those people care about their setup. Man, they didn't care about their setup at all. But it's not about their setup, it's about their AI usage and being the coolest. I don't know, it became using certain AI tools, it basically tells your manager you're very productive, and maybe a lot of people do it because it shows that they're very productive, but they actually aren't. You know, if my manager understood NewVim is makes me very productive, maybe I would also advertise that I use NewVim to him.
Yeah, like herder. Okay, how do you say it? Herder. I said it perfectly. Herder. How do you say it, Dolev?
Yeah, I say herder.
Herder. And what about you, Marco? How do you say it?
I try to avoid pronouncing it because my German tongue will just pronounce it, I think.
But you have to try it. Yeah. You have to try it.
I think I would also call it herder. Herder?
Yeah, man. I don't know why he chose that name because it's tough to pronounce. Herder. You have to put your mouth
It's cool to remove vowels. Very cool now. Look at my nickname. No vowels.
Oh yeah. Okay. And what about you, Marco? Why Kitty? Why not Mitchell? You admire Mitchell so much, okay? It seems that he's the GOAT as well, but why did you decide to go with Kitty and not Ghostty, which is the hype right now?
Maybe the same reason it's not, I don't have anything specific against Ghostty. Maybe at some point I will switch, but it's from time to time I give other software obviously a try. Like, for example, Cursor was mentioned, or I don't know, what was it? Helix, I think, was there or is still there. I from time to time I also check out how far VS Code has come, or VS Codium and all this stuff, just because I'm curious. But now that my setup is pretty much I'm pretty productive, I guess. I hope so, at least, with my setup. And I already did. I mean, let me check how was it. I mean, I think I started, which is, that's ridiculous. I started with the GNOME Terminal at some point in my career. Like, I think then I switched to, what is it called? urxvt or whatever. I think that's also a terminal, which I really fought to get it working with colors and all this stuff, which was ridiculous with this terminal and Tmux. But I used it for a long time. Then I switched to GNOME Terminal, which for whatever reason it wasn't rendering this fast, but I'm not playing games in my terminal, so I don't really care. It's like, if it's rendering fast enough that I don't see screen tearing or whatever, it works for me. And it wasn't consuming a lot of resources. So, and then I think I started with Kitty at some point. I moved to Kitty from GNOME and was pretty happy with it. And at some point I moved to WezTerm. And then because of linkarzu and all his videos and how far Kitty has come and with the session stuff, and because this was something I was really missing, like the session stuff and like not persisting between reboots, because I know Mac users don't reboot, but when I'm done with my work, I just shut it down. And then on the next day, I just freshly start. I just boot it up, not from like Hibernate. I really boot it. And then everything is fresh. I don't have any sessions left over or something. I don't care. It's like a fresh start in the day.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. I do reboot like almost daily. If I need to record a video, I reboot because there's always bugs. There's always shit that's left behind in memory or somewhere that fucks things up. So I reboot constantly, even though regular Mac users don't. My wife hasn't rebooted her computer like in 6 months. But I have a question there before you continue. Session persistence in the terminal, Tmux. Like there's people that talk about, what is this called? Tmux resurrect. Oh, my workflow is so like, I work at NASA and I need to resurrect my 40 sessions, brother, because I have to switch. What do you guys think about that?
As I said, I'm not using it. Like I have a restore like when the computer is running, it and I can detach from the Kitty session and everything, and then reattach like pretty much just close the Kitty window. And then open another one, and I can reattach to whatever sessions I have if I want. But that's all I have. Like the persistence, as in when I shut my computer down, it's gone. Like
the same. I think it's the same about the number of screens. It's like a bell curve. I used to use resurrect, and then every time I would start my computer, it was like flashing like crazy, like it had a seizure, restoring all
the sessions.
And now I'm like I consistently killed Tmux and restarted to get a fresh slate. Like I really like not having too much clutter.
Because if you don't use a session for 4 hours, 5 hours, brother, you're not gonna use it. That session is gone, right? Why you need? So I had a Tmux cleanup script that killed the sessions that I hadn't used like in, I don't remember, 2 hours or something. And I'm in the same boat there. Sorry, Marco, continue. I was gonna lose the thought.
It's just like, as Dolev mentioned, and you also acknowledged it. It's like the mental overload for me is too high. Like I don't really care. Like if it was this important, then probably I can just one shot a bash script for it. Like if I really need this, like for a longer period of time, because this is not my usual workflow, then it would be something really special. Like if we have a project for 6 months going on or something, and maybe then I can also adapt my dot files or something. But usually I don't need it because I'm not sure how you work, but it's like I'm constantly hopping projects, like because in my current company, I mean, it's not only in my current company, it's probably for the last 10 years of my career, it's like this. And this is why I'm hired at these companies. Like, it's like we have a lot of legacy code, but we also want to do new stuff. And like, but you also need to make sure that you get on board all these basically legacy developer sounds bad, right? But all these developers we have here, like we need to make them work with the new software, but also don't like migrate all this older stuff over. And so we have a lot of old stuff, but also new stuff I implemented there. And I constantly have to check all this. Like I'm not sure, maybe 100 repos. I mean, at my current company, we have something around 500 repos total, I think, currently. And also some of them are mono repos. So it's like, and 300, or I think, no, 300, or maybe 100 of them I have locally at least checked out, but sometimes I have to then basically clone the new ones when I have to check them, because I don't know, now it's time to upgrade them or whatever, and I never checked them out previously. So it's like a lot of like context switching anyway, and now just try to imagine what it would be if I have session persistence. Like now I have like 100 session, like basically, no, that's not going to work for me. Yeah. Anyway, like this was WezTerm, and then I switched to Kitty, as I said, because of linkarzu and how he basically promoted that everything works smoothly in Kitty, and that's the GNOME Terminal, and that's basically made by the Lord himself.
By the Lord himself. Yep.
Yeah. So then I gave it a try, and I just, most of the time I make a deadline in my head, like, okay, I will give it a try, and if I can't figure it out in, I don't know, like, I'm not sure. I thought for Kitty it's like 4 hours. I try to get everything ported over in 4 hours, and if it doesn't work, I just don't bother again, because I have a working setup. Like I just give it a try, and I think it was really nice to get everything ported over. And I think it took me a lot longer, because then I fine-tuned everything. Like every little thing, I'm not sure about you guys, but there are some quirks in my dot files. Like I know that they are like this, and if they happen, I know what to do. But it's not nice to know that there are bugs and how to figure, like if this happens, then I have to do this, and it's really, and now I think I fine-tuned everything to the point that these bugs are also gone. And yeah, so, and now to basically come back to why not using Ghostty, like, okay, I just spent a lot of time just making it almost perfect for me in the Kitty terminal now. It's really fast. It's not consuming a lot of resources. So I'm not saying I'm not switching at some point, or trying it out at least, but currently I don't see any benefit in, like, there are a lot of great tools out there which I want to try, but I have only limited time. I have a lot of projects I work on, and then I have a day job, and I have a family, and like it's I can't just check all the tools. I mean, if we would let's say you would be a full-time streamer, then you could do something like this, right? If you're a full-time streamer and just reviewing stuff, like, then of course I would try out everything, because I'm really excited about this stuff, but I simply don't have enough time for it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I was gonna ask you guys as well, how do you switch between projects? Are you using Kitty sessions, Marco, or How do you feel about them? Like single Kitty instance, or multiple Kitty instances? Like,
no, I have just, I mean, I'm not sure if when we call, what do you mean by instance? Like just a window? Like,
just a Kitty window, just one terminal.
Like, just one, exactly, one terminal.
Yep.
But I mean, as I said, I could just quit Kitty for whatever reason and reattach to it, but I think when this happens, it's mostly by accident, that I'm not sure what sometimes I'm just hitting one weird key combination or whatever, and then it's the Windows Manager key combination for closing the window or whatever, and it's just gone. So then I have to reopen it, obviously, but most of the time it's just there for the whole workday and never closes, never restarts. Yeah.
For me, it's like with the home keys, then usually if I type really fast, I might accidentally do command key or something, and I'm like, what the fuck happened now?
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Okay, so you use Kitty sessions to switch between projects. What about you, Dolev? How do you switch between projects like fast? Tmux, right? Tmux sessions.
I use Tmux with Josh Mendesky's Sesh project to switch sessions. But yeah, like Marco said, I really want to get rid of Tmux and move to Kitty, but I just don't find time to do that.
Yeah.
But if I was a streamer and I had all the time in the world, I would do it. Yeah.
It's like the Sesh one you mentioned. I was using it as well, and it's really, I mean, it's basically the goat. If you're using Tmux, it's like the obvious choice for me. The Sesh one. I'm not sure. Is it called Sesh?
Sesh.
Yeah. I think the Parmesan introduced this workflow for me, at least.
Yeah, to me as well.
And he had like a simple script to do it. It's not that difficult to write a script, but there are a lot of niceties that Josh put in, which make it a little smoother.
Like
the only thing I'm missing Do you guys have this working? I mean, probably I could get it working at some point, but I didn't bother enough. The preview you get from Sesh, I think when you switch something, you could have a preview of the layout of the window, right? And
I actually don't use a preview.
I don't use
okay.
it. I never implemented it. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, but this is what I was missing because I'm so like a visual person, and as I said, I'm not having much like tabs or sessions open, but it was a nice indication of like, okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, I have these splits, and it helped me even if I try to name it correctly. For my brain, it worked better with previews, but yeah.
Okay, and why do you guys want to ditch Tmux? Dolev, why do you want to ditch Tmux if it's the coded tool?
I don't think there's a really good reason. Like, I think it's like getting rid of a tool that, just like Kovid said, is like a translation layer that is unnecessary. If Kovid added support for sessions, then it's unnecessary to really use it. Then I consider it like a bloat. And I want to not have that performance penalty, basically. But it's not like I can feel my computer is slow or anything like that. It's just like optimizing. I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't make the switch, because it's not like a really big pain for me.
Okay, what about you, Marco? Why are you trying to ditch Tmux?
I mean, I ditched Tmux, but the reason was basically the same, like Dolev said. It's like, I'm not sure if I heard it in the interview, but maybe that was the first time. I'm not sure when I heard this the first time, but when the Lord said something, okay, it's like it's like a virus. I don't want to be
virus.
like I don't. Yeah, it's like much. I don't want to be. Yeah, like I don't. Please don't use it with Kitty or something like that. And it's like I could totally understand his point. Like, okay, it's a headache also not for the Lord to maintain something because I think there are a lot of people like, oh, it's not working and I'm using Tmux, and he must respond politely with, yeah, that's not a problem with Kitty, it's a problem with Tmux. Please just post it there or fix it yourself, whatever, or your config, and it's just a hassle. And that is something I sometimes face when using Tmux. It's like, no matter what terminal I use, I have to fight with the Tmux configuration to get the colors right and everything. And sometimes even if I put it, and it's not like good configuration for me because there are some weird escape codes that I have to put in my configuration of Tmux, which enabled for whatever reason that I have full color support. But it's not like, it's not obvious to me that these escape codes, like I have to put a comment there because it's so ridiculous that if I set it like this value to this escape code, then I have full color support. It's like, okay, it's ridiculous. So that's basically the reason.
Feels like a hack. But I have to admit something though. I've been editing videos right now with an AI workflow that I came up with. Not me, but the AI. So I do it in the terminal, right? I talk to it so that I can edit videos. Editing videos is like the worst part ever, right? So if you can imagine, all of this is FFmpeg commands, right? So when I start editing a video, it takes, let's say, 1 hour processing, right? And one day it was processing, transcribing and everything. And I quit Kitty and I was like, God fucking damn it. Now my process is gone. I have to start over. So I reintroduced Tmux specifically for that. When I'm editing a video, the script automatically creates a Tmux session, and everything happens inside that Tmux process. If I quit Kitty, it's fine. I can restore. But I think personally that is the only scenario in which Tmux is useful. Okay, you need a process not to die when you quit your terminal or your SSH session. Man, Tmux is there to the rescue all the time. Like, it's not a tool that should not exist. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know, like, when you accidentally quit your browser and it says, do you really want to quit? It's like the only program that does this. Like Chrome.
But
so I would love that for Kitty.
It has it.
Because it has it. Yeah, exactly. I already have this, like, this is why I was so confused when you told me, like, even, as I said, when I quit Kitty, it remains all the sessions active, like everything that is running, and I can reattach to it. But if I want to really close it, like I think it's Control B, like, because I'm used to Control B for Tmux, and then I think it's X for really closing this terminal window. And then it asks me, like, okay, here's something running, do you really want to close it? So it's like, which is really nice, I think.
When I start recording a video, I just type something on the keyboard, and it runs a script, changes my resolution, closes Kitty, reopens Kitty to apply changes, and it opens browsers and stuff like that happen, right? So I want Kitty to be closed. So that happened once, and I was like, oh, fuck. I started recording a video, Kitty closed, it died. So, man, but it does have the option to ask you if you want to quit. I don't use it because when I want to quit Kitty, I just quit it and I just want it gone fast, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. I usually have my terminal always open, so I don't think I want to quit it ever. Maybe I quit Tmux. I kill Tmux sometimes to get a clean slate, but not the terminal, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I have to leave like in 10 minutes. Any final thoughts? Any final comments that you wanna provide before we wrap it up?
I wanna know how Marco is so productive. Because I've been maintaining my.
He uses AI, but right, Marco?
He uses AI, Marco.
As I said, for most of the boring stuff, for example, for most of the tests things, not only private, like I have private licenses for it, but also at work. Like if we have a really huge test suite already, AI is pretty good at figuring out like adding missing tests. But AI is also like, this is why I said you have to vouch for it, basically. Like you have to review it really carefully, because I had AI multiple times when I use it, just disable tests for things, so they will be green, like the test suite. And it didn't tell me like this. I specifically asked it or prompted it, how I think you call it prompt, right? To please add the missing tests or make them green again. And making it green again meant for the AI agent, I think that's how he like came to the conclusion that when I just disable the test, then they are green. That's true, but it's like it's not what I wanted it to do. So you have to really, like, as I said, I'm not against using AI, at least for the boring stuff. For the most complicated stuff, I think it's not working at all for me, because it's lying all the time for me and it's making things up. Like I think you call it hallucinating, because when I ask it's really specific hard problems infra code wise, like in Terraform or whatever, which is really specific for this, I don't know, provider in this version and whatever, it can't figure it out. Because I think that's because there is no training data for it. Like it's not that people haven't solved it.
I like the term bullshitting, because bullshitting is like, it doesn't care if it's true or wrong. It's just spewing bullshit. So it doesn't hallucinate because it doesn't understand what's the truth. So I like the term bullshitting, but sometimes if it has like a lot of training, the bullshit is true. It's like, it's useful for some stuff.
But I'm really talking about stuff when I know for sure that this can't work because it's not in the documentation. I mean, that doesn't mean anything in GCP by GCP Terraform providers, because sometimes the documentation is just like the documentation is just wrong. That also happens, but most of the time it's just like it makes things up. Like, and if I ask the AI to, please send me the source code for it, the source code or the issues for it where you just found this, because this doesn't seem true.
Do you still say please?
You have to
sometimes, but I told this to my coworkers sometimes, because when I rewrote the Kulala core stuff, there was something I worked, because I said I'm rarely sleeping then, or I sleep like.
I think this is the secret.
Only like 3 hours or something like that. Yeah. So, and then it was really late already, and I had to go to work, and I think it was 2 a.m. and I had one really ugly bug, and I was so tired I couldn't figure it out. And I think I tried with the AI already like from 1 to 2, because I couldn't figure it out myself. And I think at 2 I gave up, and I really was not really polite to the AI. I was something like, okay, you're so stupid. I can't understand. I mean, I was really harassing the AI basically. And then I was like, my last sentence was like, because you're so stupid, and I'm pretty sure that it's not that complicated, I will go to sleep now, and when I wake up, it will take me just 5 minutes to fix it myself. Thank you for nothing. And then I just closed it, and it was totally the case. Like when I just got enough sleep, and I just tried to fix it myself in the morning, it just took 5 minutes. Like it was obvious, but it's like sometimes my conversations end like this with the AI. So
yeah, I try to keep it friendly, and I try to keep it friendly. And we're like, brother, we're cool. We're just hanging here. Just let's keep our relationship friendly. But yesterday it got out of control. I was like, what the fuck is even this? And I even type it like that, when you get upset and it's like, man, I don't know. Sometimes,
I think if I would talk to AI, I would be like a caveman, basically. Do this, make this happen.
But
I wouldn't say please. I wouldn't.
No. I mean, you must imagine that I could, because the AI wasn't able to figure out when this was introduced. So I'm not sure you guys know this, but I think Dolev might know this. But I'm using Git bisect or the JJ equivalent quite frequently, so I can just tell it, okay, now it's broken, but whatever, three weeks ago, I'm pretty sure it works. So I give it basically a command where I tell this is good, this is bad, and Git bisect just walks you through everything, and then you can basically try, is it broken now? And then it marks it as good or bad. And at some point, because it narrows it down, you come to the basically the commit which introduced the bug. So I already had this commit, and I told the AI, hey, this was introduced in this commit, and it wasn't able to figure it out. It's like, and it wasn't like 20,000 lines of code which I added in this commit. Like it was, I don't know, 300 or whatever, even with tests. And it was ridiculous. It wasn't able to figure it out.
Yeah, it depends as well, man. That's the thing. It depends on how the AI feels that way. You don't get the same worker every day. You don't get the same slave every day, Like some days, depending on the model that you're using and like the reasoning, I use open code and you can set it to low, medium, high, whatever. If you switch to a different model, the other one's gonna be like, brother, fuck you. I just don't want to work today, and I'm just gonna provide slop that is not gonna work. So, some days it wants to work well.
Maybe you're being throttled by Anthropic or something.
Yep.
They're like, we don't have enough capacity to serve you today. Mm-hmm. Here, take this.
Yeah.
Before all of you leave, right? Because I think we have only like 3 minutes left or something like that. How do you manage at your company, at least, secrets? Because I mean, when I'm working on my own, I obviously, and it's only me, I just use M files. Like
I cannot say it, but
yeah.
it's like the worst way that you can imagine. Just think the worst. And there's passwords there. There's shared passwords. At this company.
But I mean, when you're working on a team,
at
you have to basically.
At the previous company, we used Vault. Yep, they use Vault.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
If that's like HashiCorp?
HashiCorp, yeah. HashiCorp Vault, yep. You have a tool for that, Marco?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is why I'm asking. Like, I'm a big fan of Doppler, but you have to pay for it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to pay for it. I will create my own.
So
I think I could have like a whole another conversation with you, Marco, about your tools. Because a lot of them seem really useful. I at my company, we used to use Secrets Manager, AWS Secrets Manager.
Yeah, but how do you just when you that is what I was asking. Like, if you develop locally, and let's say it's a really small service, but it needs some environment variables or something.
So it's really bad. How do we locally we actually bring the secrets from. Now we use parameter store for that. So we bring.
Yeah, but how do you inject them in the running process, like on the fly? That's basically the question. Like, do you have something like a script where it puts in them locally in your .env files or whatever? Like, because they need to when you run it locally or in a Docker container or whatever. But if you just
we have like a class. We have like a JavaScript class with a bunch of keys, and then when the service starts, it queries parameter store over the network for the secrets values, and then it puts them in the JavaScript
so it's
class.
Really in the application. So it's part of the application code.
Yeah.
Okay, because in our case, and this is how I was used to use it, it's like part of the infrastructure side. Like, it's part of the Terraform code that we injected as environment variables. Like,
so it's also an option. Like, if the config is empty, so you didn't inject like environment variables, then it will fetch it from the network. Okay. That's the logic
because I think, I mean, that could be a good way to do, but I'm not sure about like the performance implications, because when the application starts,
it slows
the
down.
code start is That's what I was thinking, because when you have it on the inbox
also
part, like it's always there.
We had an outage of the internet yesterday at my company. I don't know why, but like we didn't have internet for 2 hours, so I went and ate hummus outside. but people couldn't start their services because they couldn't fetch the secrets.
Oh,
This is also something that could be worked around with my tool.
Okay.
I can tell you, because this is like, it has a fallback. Like when you don't, like, you have to opt in for it. Like when you know that you have sometimes outages, you can opt in to also like store it encrypted locally. So like it's a fallback when it can't reach the internet. It will just inject the latest known secret into your process. But that's exactly what the tool is about. Like using secrets manager, param stores, GCP secrets, whatever is out there in the cloud can just. Yeah.
that is pretty interesting.
I need to check it out.
Yep. That's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it in another call. Let's set up a call so you can demo that. Also, I want to see the bananas tool, Marco. So you can I saw the brew command to install it on macOS there. You can download the binary to install it in any other
I hope
operating
it's
system.
still working, because I didn't add the brew stuff. There's something some user like added and was like, okay, it has a lot of stars and it can't be installed via brew. Can I add it? And I was like, I don't know about brew. If you can submit a PR, I will test it, and I will happily accept it. But
Okay, but at least it's like your binary, the one that gets installed. It's not something shady.
That's
Okay.
that's
Okay. All right. Let's meet another day. Thank you very much for joining, guys. This was FurryConf. Anyone in Discord could have joined. Just 2 of the guys joined. The whole call was with the 2 furries at the bottom. I wonder what adults think about that. Like, what are your wives or your partners gonna think about this? Like, what are these guys up to right now, brother? Like, we're losing them, right?
I'm lucky my wife doesn't
No,
didn't
about all
enter
this.
the room and see it.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you on Discord. We'll see you later. Bye.
yeah.
Bye bye.